are tuned in to Stewart Spotlight Podcast with your host, William Stewart Jr., with topics of everyday life. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we are live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Our guest today, Miss Chatrivia Kennedy, a woman living with HIV. Sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode. And now, your host, William Stewart Jr.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Stewart Spotlight Podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in, and once again, my name is William Stewart Jr., and I am your host this evening. You know, I haven't seen you guys since last year. We missed a couple of episodes this year, but I want to wish everyone a happy new year. And I wish and pray for a prosperous and healthy new year for each and every one of you. We had a lot to talk about. I hope most of you guys received my New Year's video. I sent it out to the mass and received a lot of accolades behind it, but I want to thank you for that. There's a lot in the news, but I'm not going to go into the news today. Since we missed a couple of episodes, we missed the 3rd and the 10th episodes, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the show. Also, this is the 17th of January, and you know, at the beginning of the month, I always say this.
Stewart Spotlight presents a new, exciting program live on Facebook and YouTube. The Enrich Life. Tuesday, September the 24th, 2024 at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. With your host, Pastor Richard T. Patterson. And the topics: enlightenment, encouragement, and empowerment. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show.
Now, obvious, you know that's incorrect. I pressed the wrong button by mistake, but we're going to start up the program with Pastor Patterson, I think this month or next month. But the button I was trying to press is this one.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear viewers. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, that's the button I was trying to press, but hey, mistakes happen. I'm human. I want to wish everybody a happy birthday for the month of January, and also if you have an anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well. As I stated before, we have a very exciting show this evening to talk with Miss Kennedy about certain topics that will be very interesting for you to know. But before we go into the topics and my guests, now you know I'm starting off the year already, and I need your support. I need you to like, subscribe, share, and make sure you leave a comment this time. Leave a comment. And also, when you leave in a comment, make sure you turn on that notification bell so that therefore every time we're live, you'll get that notification to let you know Stewart Spotlight is live. And we want you to tune in to share some of the experiences that we're going to go through. So we're going to take a little small break right quick, and we're going to come back with my guest, so therefore she can talk about her history, and we'll go from there. We'll be right back after this commercial. Yes, I have to plug my merchandise. Of course, that's my merchandise, the T-shirts and things of that nature. So, but let's talk about my guest. My guest this evening, I'm going to try to pronounce her name, but she told me several times how to say it, but I'm going to try it. It's Chatrivia Kennedy, a mother of four, and an author of over 20 books that you can purchase under her name on Amazon. She actually wrote it. And the subject this evening, and I don't see Miss Kennedy, her voice, I don't see her picture on the screen, so she got to say something before she can say something, so we can get
I'm here.
Okay, there you go. This evening's subject is a woman living with HIV. Without further ado, let's bring on my guest this evening, Miss Kennedy. Welcome to the show, Miss Kennedy.
Hey, y'all.
So how you doing?
I'm doing.
You're doing?
Doing.
You're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for appearing on the show this evening, and happy New Year's to you and your family. And how was your Christmas and holidays?
It actually was good. I did a lot of moving around to different people's house. I ain't did that in a long time.
Oh,
so
really?
That was fun.
So were you moving around eating, or just moving around just visiting?
Visiting, going to different people's house.
Oh, okay. All
like
right.
we used to do when we was kids.
Okay, because see,
So it was good.
when I used to go to people's house, I want to eat. So I'm I'm just saying that was just me. So other than that, you're doing fine, and your family is doing fine.
Everybody is great. Thanks for asking.
Okay, thank you. For the viewers, and I didn't know this until the other day when I sat down with her. Miss Kennedy grew up in the same neighborhood as I did. She was in 1410, I believe.
Yeah.
And I was in 1433, right across each other, and didn't even know. Just like when I had the pastor on the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know he lived in 1410 as well. But anyway, so it was called the Village, and we all knew about the Village. Now, you also mentioned that some of your family members lived in 1433, correct?
Yes.
So was that your immediate family or just distant, your cousins?
Immediate family.
So, and the last name was Kennedy?
Yes.
Okay, because I know Milton Scott is watching, and he's the guru who used to put things together for the Village when they used to collaborate and bring everybody together and had this big thing in the field and barbecue and stuff like that just to interact. But I know Milton will be asking questions later. So how many siblings are there in your family?
It's just me and a sister and brother. I'm the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest? And what school? Did you attend Medill?
Yep. I went to Medill to 6th grade, and then my mom transferred me to Reese.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't transferred to. Okay. Now, you also stated that your mother and your stepfather raised you.
Yes.
So, what about your father?
My father died when I was 3.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. Were you a mischievous child growing up in school and in your teenager and teens years?
No, I was a quiet kid.
Really?
I was quiet probably up until I turned maybe like 15. And then I just started getting all type of trouble. I wanted to fight everybody. I guess I would call myself a little gangbanger, right? A girl gangbanger. It was so funny. It's funny. We just go around fighting everybody, terrorizing the neighborhood.
Really? For no reason, just to have that reputation of your name, or what?
Well, it's always a reason. We walking down the street, y'all don't know how to scoot over and let us come past. Just little petty stuff, kid stuff.
Okay, gotcha. So now let's talk about at the age of 17 when you had your first child. Your first child was a son. So please explain to the audience about what happened at that period of 17 years of age.
So at 17, I was dating one of my friend's uncle. And I got pregnant. And it didn't work out. But it didn't work out because he was older than me too, so he was kind of controlling. It didn't work out. So I told myself that I wasn't going to be with nobody. I was just gonna do what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
Okay.
But I was not gonna get with nobody seriously until somebody was gonna marry me and help me take care of my son. I just didn't want to be with different men. You know, growing up in a village, like you saw a lot. You know, I saw women with so many different men, and I just didn't want that to be the story of my life.
Right.
So I wanted to wait until I found somebody that was really actually going to be serious about being in a serious relationship.
Okay. And then you found someone?
Yes, then I actually found someone that was different from the guys that I grew up in the neighborhood with. He had a job. He wanted a car. Like, I didn't drive. I couldn't drive. I didn't have a license or nothing. And he wanted to drive, and he wanted to buy a house. I had nobody I talked to ever said they wanted to buy a house.
Okay.
People live with low income, you know. So that was different for me. And I always used to want to like go downtown and just like walk and just see things. And he was into that too. So it's like we had so many different things in common. So in the beginning, it was really good.
Okay. And then you got pregnant?
Then I got pregnant. And we started going to church too. So that was different for me too.
Okay.
Because I knew God when I was a little younger, but I was I was 20, 21. So it was like meeting God when you're at that age, it was different. So going to church and being around his family that was into church. So that was exciting. Then I get pregnant. So I was happy. You know, I was happy to be pregnant with that a person that I had fell in love with.
Okay. So now, and then you became HIV positive.
Yes, the person that I was with at the time, he was diagnosed with AIDS. And when he was diagnosed, I was at the hospital with him when he was diagnosed, and they told him that he had AIDS. And the nurse told me that I needed to get tested because it was important for me and the baby. I was almost like I was 8 months pregnant, like close to having the baby. So she was just explaining like I could take this pill that will help prevent my child from having HIV. So I just was looking like kind of weird, like you hear about HIV, you hear about AIDS. Well, actually you hear about HIV. No, you hear about AIDS. But like they got that package. You got that package. That's what they say growing up. Like he got the package. Look at him. He looking sick. But I didn't know the difference in like HIV, AIDS. I don't know. I only knew of one. So I was confused. So I just was looking stupid. And then he was like, it's gonna be all right. It's just gonna be me and you against the world. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I called my midwife. I told her what had happened at the doctor with him at the hospital because he was in the hospital. And she told me to come in, and I went and I got tested.
So now you just mentioned about your midwife. Could you break that down for us?
So when I first got pregnant, they gave me a midwife. A midwife is somebody that she worked hands on with me. Like instead of me going to see a doctor for my visits, every time I went, I saw her. She was a nurse, but she just was hands on with everything. Like if anything happened, like when I was at home, I could call her. Call it was 24 hours. You can call and tell her what's going on. I could have had the baby at home if I wanted to have a baby at home. It's just another way of, to me, it was more intimate than the doctor, put it like that.
Okay.
It's just a more intimacy than the doctor. I don't even think they have midwives no more.
Oh, so now how did this really impact your life? Because now you were infected by HIV. How did all your goals just vanish, or you just lost all kind of hope? What happened after that?
I'm so glad you asked me that. That's a question that nobody really asked me about before HIV, how I felt. I didn't even have goals, right? I didn't have goals. I remind you, I said I got pregnant. I didn't work. I didn't work at the time when I got pregnant. I didn't have an education. I dropped out of school at a early age. I thought I was 17 actually. When I was pregnant, I dropped out of school. So I had no education, no job. I had no direction. I just was living, right? So then when I got HIV, it was like, whoa, like what? And I started going into research mode to figure out like what that meant for my life. So the way that it impacted my life, it gave me a purpose. I found out what living really was about. Life is not just about get up in the morning, doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Or going outside, hanging out with your girlfriends, y'all walking around, making sure y'all kids got on all the Jordans that come out, have all the latest clothes. That's not what life is all about. HIV helped me figure that out.
Okay, so now, how did your family take it? Did you talk to your family then, or did you just held it in? And how did that work?
So I was pregnant, and I didn't tell nobody. He didn't want to tell nobody. So of course I listened to what he said. I didn't tell nobody. And it just was like bad. He didn't want to know about HIV, and I did. It's like if I said something about it, it caused problems. Like he was taking medicine and I wasn't taking medicine. So that was already hard for me too. I'm taking medicine for the baby. I'm not taking medicine for myself. Okay. So that's confusing. So, and I can't tell anybody. So all of those was different emotions I was going through. And he had left. He had left because he had to get his life together, so he say. So I had to face all of that alone. And I wound up going to CNA class to get my CNA. And it was so much. I'm in secret. I got this baby. I'm giving her this medicine. I really don't know what HIV really means. They broke it down and told me everything, but I still don't really get it. Why am I not taking medication? So I was going through all these different emotions. And one day, I was crying. And my mother came in the room and she was like, "Why are you crying?" And I had enough. I couldn't take it no more. I was tired of being in secret. And I just was like, remember he was in the hospital? They said he had AIDS and I got tested and I'm HIV positive. And she was like, "Is the baby okay?" And I explained. They took a test when she was born. They took a test 6 weeks after I had her. And both tests was negative. She got to get 2 more tests and she'll be fine if she tests negative for the other 2 tests. And my mother was like, "Is you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I explained her what they said about me being okay. And she said, okay. And she went over there and she grabbed that baby. I said, that baby, like it ain't my baby. She grabbed my daughter and I was crying and my daughter was crying. That's why she came in the room. So she grabbed my baby and she just started rocking her. And she just sat on the bed with me and she never said nothing. I never said nothing from that day to the day my mother died. She never said like, "Is you okay? What's wrong?" Nothing. She never questioned me about it. She didn't treat me different. She always loved me like I didn't have anything.
So now you also mentioned about you have to take a pill for the baby. So that it wouldn't affect the baby at all, but you still was affected with the HIV virus.
Right. So I took what's called AZT. So that's what you took. I don't know if people still take it right now when they get pregnant, but my 3 kids, because I had more kids after that pregnancy. All of my kids, I took AZT. It's a pill that you take to prevent the baby from transmitting HIV. So it basically flushes everything out of the baby. And then when you have the baby, when you in labor, they give you an IV with that medication in it. And then when the baby is born, the baby take the medicine. I think it was like six months. So that prevents the baby from transmitting HIV. And also too, because I was what's called undetectable. Undetectable means that I don't have a lot of the virus in my body. At that time, I didn't take medicine, but I still didn't have a lot of my body and I took care of myself. So that means that because I'm HIV positive, I can't transmit HIV to someone else. So that's why it was another reason why it was okay for me to have another baby.
Okay, so therefore, if your vital loads is undetectable, as you just stated, so therefore you can have a partner and they won't be able to be affected with the HIV. Am I correct?
Yes, they won't be able to contract HIV.
The HIV. Okay. Oh, okay. Learn something new every day. Okay, so now you also mentioned that you were in school for CNA, and you said you went back and started taking the class, and did you pass to be a CNA?
Yeah. I passed it. I passed the class.
Okay.
My mother, so before she found out I was HIV positive, she was giving me a hard time. She was giving me a hard time. She didn't want to get that baby when I got out of school because I'm trying to study and I want to be sad in the room. She was not helping out. But when she found that out, she'd get that baby all the time. And I was able to study, be sad, and whatever else I wanted to do in that room by myself. And I passed the test. I was surprised I passed the test because, remind you, I didn't graduate high school, you know. I was not educated at all, but I really shocked myself with passing that test. I really studied for real. I know what study looked like. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. But I did that, and then I wound up getting a job at Mount Sinai Hospital. I worked there for 11 years.
Okay. And you were also an advocate for HIV at the Mount Sinai, correct?
Yes, I wasn't a paid advocate, but by me being a CNA, and I worked on the oncology unit, that's an infectious disease unit. People that was diagnosed with HIV, they would come to our unit. And my doctor, because I'm HIV positive, her patients was on floor. And I started telling my coworkers that I was HIV positive. You know how you get a job and you get people and y'all get to talking and y'all start sharing information. And I always felt like if you don't tell people what's really going on in your life and you keep some secrets, they're not really going to be able to help you or speak in your life. So I started telling them what was going on with me. And it was shocking to them because they never was that actually close to somebody that was HIV positive that was not a patient. So I helped educate them about HIV. And then it went over to the nurses. So I educated the nurses about it. So when people was newly diagnosed with HIV, they would come and get me and ask me to go in and talk to the patients. Or if my doctor was there and something happened, she'll ask me to go in and talk to the patients. But at this time, I didn't know that I was being an advocate. I didn't know. I just thought like I wanted to help them because I was literally going through a lot still at the same time too. But they thought like they was going to die. So I knew I could help them with that. So I was being an advocate before I even became an advocate.
Okay, now are you on any kind of medication now since you're HIV positive?
Yes. I've been on medicine probably like 6 years.
6 years? Okay. And the vital lows and all the results is okay?
Yes, my viral load and my CD4 is good.
CD4, okay.
I'm like 0 copies of HIV in my bloodstreams, and I'm also what I was saying, undetectable.
Okay. Well, if you just hang in there with us right quick, we're going to take a little small commercial, and we're going to come back with Miss Kennedy to talk about HIV. We'll be right back. Ms. Kennedy, when you found out that you were affected by the HIV, did you have any negative feelings towards your partner?
No. Oh, wow. See, this is what I was telling you earlier. Like, every time I tell my story, it becomes so different for me, and I'm able to experience different things with these questions. It's just like amazing in a sense. But in the very beginning, I did not have negative feelings towards him.
Because you was very supportive, and you was trying to make sure he was getting better.
Yeah, I took care of him. I took care of my baby. I was okay. They told me I was okay. And I knew God. So I knew I was going to be fine. I just trying to make sure everybody else was okay. That was what was important to me, that everybody else was okay. But then I started to get upset with him when he started changing. In the beginning, he was just wonderful, you know? He was like Prince Charming, in a sense. And then when HIV happened, he just started getting mean. He just would be mean all the time. He started being disrespectful. Started want to go outside and I come home. Women in the phone. It started getting bad. So at that point, now I'm mad at him. Like, you did this to me. You could at least be faithful. Like, that's not asking for a lot. Like, I can't go and be with somebody else. So I don't think you should. Like, that's so unfair. You supposed to make me happy. Which I know that how I felt was totally wrong. I know that today. But back then I felt like you supposed to make me happy. You supposed to fix my life. You supposed to fix my sadness. You supposed to make life easy for me because you gave me HIV. And I was mad for a long time, but I am no longer mad no more.
Okay, because I believe you said that your passion and your dreams were to be married and have a large family and just live very comfortable.
Yeah, that's what I always desired. I wanted the life that I saw, living in the projects, looking out the window and seeing the man go to work early in the morning, come home with bags, weekends, him taking his family out, coming home. It just looked like love to me. You know, I didn't see this man with different women. I didn't see the mother with different men. They was respectful human beings. They went to church on Sunday. I desired that. And I felt like I was so close to it because I got pregnant. I met a man that was amazing. He helped with bills. I had got an apartment. He helped with bills. He had dreams. We was talking about a house. He was going to go to plumbing school. I was talking about thinking about nursing, but really wasn't sure because, you know, I didn't have education. So I'm thinking like I could do it. So we had all these dreams and I felt like HIV took that from me.
But you're fine because you got over it for over 20. Are you still
at that time, I felt like.
Are you still having some feelings or about it?
So at that time, I was upset. And it took me a long time to arrive here to where I'm not upset no more. Okay. And the reason why I'm not upset anymore is I have to take responsibility for myself. Like, even though that I got it from him, I still could have made a choice not to have sex with him, right? So this is the big thing. People always like, where you get it from? How you get HIV? How you get it? How you get it? It's like a mystery or something. And it's not a mystery. I slept with the person I was in a relationship with and did not use a condom. So I can't be 100% mad at him. I didn't say put on a condom or I ain't bust out a female condom. So when I started to understand that helped me not be angry with him. And then not only that, this person was not happy. He was not happy with his own life. He didn't even accept what was happening with him. So how could I expect for him to love me, for him to respect me, to respect the kids? How could I expect anything from him if he can't do that for himself? I was asking for something that I could not get. So those things helped me. It's still helping me to not be upset like I used to be. I'm learning. I'm still in the process of learning how to forgive with my whole heart. But the more and more I heal, the more I will be able to forgive wholly.
That's so true. You're absolutely right. Let's move forward. First of all, how's your partner doing now?
Who?
How's your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, so you haven't been in contact with him at all?
No, okay. No contact. But I have this thing where I say he was so abusive. So I stopped talking because he was abusive. So I say that you're not going to disrespect me. You did it enough. So I blocked him. You cannot disrespect me. You cannot talk to me in type of way. And I blocked him. But the thing is, as I continue to grow and I continue to get me together, because I'm not all the way together, but God is still working on me. At some point, I want us to be able to talk because we have kids. So I want us to have some type of communication, at least for the kids' sake, right, and have a healthy co-parenting situation at some point in life.
So do he visit the kids?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about this because you have several. You have a publishing company and you have a not-for-profit organization. Let's talk about that a little bit. What made you get into the publishing and and not-for-profit? Because I believe you have over 20-something books out there on Amazon under your name, and it's different titles. So how did this come about?
So it's actually over 40 books.
Oh, sorry.
Let's get right. Over 40.
Sorry. 40 books. Sorry. Okay, 40 books.
So I used to go see a psychiatrist long time ago, like when I was working at Mount Sinai.
Okay.
And she told me that it was someone inside of me down to come out. And she told me to write. So I would write all the time. And when I would write and I would read it, like, oh my God, who is she? Like, she's so strong. She's amazing. And I wanted to become her, like some type of way. I wanted to be that woman I was when I wrote. And I said, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to help people. And I just used to write. And he used to destroy all my laptops, all my books. He destroyed it. But I found a way to get free from him. And I kept all my notebooks. And I got tired of being... So it's this thing, it feel like you could be going through so many different things, but God continue to speak to you like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And that's how it was. God was constantly telling me that it was something greater for me, you know? And I got tired of losing. I just started losing everything. Like I leave the abusive relationship. I free men and kids. I lost my car. I'm about to lose the house I didn't get. I can't go to work because I'm sad. It just was so much going on. And I don't understand why. And God kept telling me it was time to become free. So I went on Facebook and I went live and I told the world I was HIV positive. And I did it on World AIDS Day. So by me doing that opened up the door. Now it's time to write the book. So I did one book. I did a book with all of my notes. And I gave God the glory first. I did a devotional. After I did the devotional, I had other books that I thought was one book that turned into 2 books. So in the midst of me doing all those things, I always wanted to start a publishing company, but keep in mind, I was not educated, and I thought I could not do that it would be hard to do it. So one day I sat down and I went through a training on, I call it YouTube University, for maybe 6 or 7 weeks, and I taught myself how to publish, and I published my first book. After I published the first one, I just kept going and going and going. When you sad and you quiet and you become free, you got a lot to talk about, a whole lot. So I started writing all these different books, and everybody started saying, like, how'd you write these books so fast? And I started explaining it. And they were like, who published the book? And I'm like, I did. So now people want me to publish their books. Then I started talking to people that was in prison. They wanted their books published. So I'm like, okay, it's time. I went online, got the LLC. Now I got a publishing company. Then I'm like, you know what? It's time for me to start this nonprofit. I want to start having events. I want to educate the community. It's time. I went online, nonprofit. Then I wound up having somebody do the 501c3. Then I started having events. I'll do things on social media. People always contact me. I used to do one-on-one sessions with people that was HIV positive, but I stopped. I need to start back, but I have not done that. If somebody positive, they reach out to me. If they don't have care, I basically link them to care. I find somebody that I know, one of my HIV advocates in another state or this state, and I help them get whatever resources that they need. The reason why I did all of this is because first thing is I wanted to tell my story because I knew that I was going to help somebody because God told me what I was going through was not for nothing. And I was going to help people around the world. The first thing. Second thing was when I'm dead and gone, I want my words to still be here. They're going to forget about me. I'm going to be gone. When my time comes, I'll be gone. They'll probably cry for a few years. And after that, it's going to be over with. But my books will still be here. My grandkids and grandkids and grandkids will be able to pick up that book and see what I was feeling, what I was going through, my sadness, my depression, me trying to kill myself, and my happiness, and me finding love, and me doing amazing things for the community and doing amazing things for God. So I wanted to leave that for my legacy. And then when it comes to the HIV community and what I do, I just feel like who better to educate the community about HIV other than someone that's HIV positive, you know? Especially saying, I have slept with a man that knew I was HIV positive and had a wife, you know? So I would be the perfect candidate to tell somebody how important it is to get tested for HIV. So I have to do this. I have no other choice. It ain't nothing else in the world that I'd rather do other than try to educate my community to understand how important it is to know your status.
Well, that's, you said a mouthful there, because I'm looking at your whole life history, growing up and becoming to be HIV positive, but then it didn't stop you. It set you back a little bit, but you proceeded to go forward, and you were determined. Okay, you're going to be a mouthpiece for this HIV positive awareness, and you start doing it, despite that you have it yourself, but you were there to lend a spoken word to anybody who wanted to listen to you who has this HIV positive, and which is, I commend you for that. Now, you also said that your religion really took a big part of this, because you stepped back in your faith.
So in the beginning, when I first met him, he was going to church. He was raised in church. Maybe not raised in church, but he had some type of church background. I did not. I wasn't raised in church. And in the beginning, we would go to church and stuff. And then throughout the relationship, we would go. And then one time, my cousin told me I needed to buy a Bible. She was like, I can help you and I can talk to you, but you need to buy your Bible. And I bought a Bible and I started to read the word for myself. And some stuff I didn't understand, but by me being so sad, I felt better when I read. And me and God started to develop a relationship. And he kept telling me it wasn't for nothing. I'm like, why is I'm going through all this? I'm reading your word. What you tell me, don't sin, don't do this, don't do that. I even said, I don't want to live in sin no more. We got to get married. I don't want to do that no more. We got married. I wanted to live for God. But I was trying to figure out, God, if I'm going to live for you, why am I still in so much pain? I couldn't get that. But I had to understand the Bible talks about what God put together cannot nobody separate. Sometimes we put ourselves together with somebody.
That's true.
And I put myself together with him, and that's not what I was supposed to have did. And I started to continue to read the word. And I started to understand that HIV was my thing. Everybody in the Bible had a thing. We all have a thing. We all have a gift. We all have a passion. We all have something. And I learned that God gave me a thing. And my thing is I have a way with words, and I'm able to draw people. Me drawing people to me because I'm HIV positive. And once they, how was you able to live through all of this and still be sane? Because of the power of God. Because God comforted me through all of that. If it was not for God being there for me, I would not be here today.
Yeah. Duly noted. I appreciate it very much. Miss Kennedy, appreciate you coming on the show, and I believe you have some good news that's coming in August, right?
Yes. So, like I was explaining, I'm the best person to talk about HIV because of my past experiences, doing things that was not right all the time. And I went through this phase in my life. I said, I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be entertained. And just me and God. And God showed me how to love on myself. He showed me how to help myself, how to accept myself. Like I thought, oh, you dumb, you slow, you this, you that, all these different things. And God started to show me that he loved me just the way I am, that I am perfect for the assignment without an education. Everybody else that's doing all these different things, they got all these degrees and all that, that's their life. But this is what I have for you. And as God continued to help me with these things, I wound up finding love, and I was not looking for it. I was not paying attention to him. He was not paying attention to me, but God put people together for a reason. And we're about to get married in a few months, August, and he's HIV negative. One of my biggest, he tell me, he always say, I'm your biggest fan. And I'll be like, fan? No, he's my biggest supporter. But he always say he's my biggest fan from day one. Like, he's so supportive. He might, you know how they be like, oh, God, send me an angel. he my angel.
That's good. That's good. I want, if next time, if possible, maybe you and your fiance will come on the show and talk about your engagement and what's going to be laid down before you in your future.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Okay. Miss Kennedy, I want to thank you for coming on Stewart Spotlight Podcast Live. And feel free. Now, did you want to share any encouraging words or motivational words to anybody out there that may be going through something of this nature?
Two things I want to share. With somebody that may be HIV positive, and the biggest thing for us living with HIV is like not being accepted, not being loved, being stigmatized, not wanting to disclose all of that. So if you are HIV positive, you're going through those different things, I encourage you to just love on yourself. Like love you with HIV, educate yourself so that when the time comes for somebody to be, so for somebody to accept you, for somebody to love, if that's your kids, if that's your auntie, whoever, when that time comes for them to come and accept you, that you can educate them so that they won't look at it like, oh, you sick. Immediately go in education mode. And when you educate people, that helps them understand what you're going through and they will become a support system. Don't give up on yourself because of a little funky HIV. It's just some letters. Right. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You take your medicine and you can go through life and live regular. And if you don't know how to channel your emotions, find me on Facebook, Chatrivia Kennedy. We can figure it out. I'll help you figure it out. Now, that's the people that may be living with HIV. So people that's not HIV positive, I'm going to tell y'all, the streets is not safe. And when I say the streets are not safe, I come from the hood. I come from the streets. So I'm going to speak to the streets. And I'm going to speak to the churches. And I'm going to speak to the people. Everybody, forget it, the whole world. But I had to say the streets first, so that sounds cute. The streets ain't safe, and they not safe. I don't care if you're married, you've been married for 50 years, and y'all love each other, and y'all go to church every Sunday. You don't know what she do sometime, and he don't know what you do sometime. You need to know your status. For women that got a boyfriend or a husband, he done had 2 kids on you, and he's sleeping with her and him, and you okay with it because you the man, go and get tested. It's like vital for your life. If you know your status, that can prevent you from transmitting to someone else. Like simple. This does not, listen, you don't have to be me. You do not have to live with HIV. You do not have to do that. But when you have unprotected sex with somebody that you don't know their status, you leave yourself open for that. So I just encourage everybody to know their status.
Appreciate that encouraging words. Once again, like I said before, feel free to come back anytime. And I really want to thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being so candid and open. And like I say, you have yourself a nice weekend, okay? Miss Kennedy.
All right, see y'all.
All right. Well, Miss, I'm pressing buttons too fast. Okay, well, that was a little education for all of us about HIV, your status, and being aware of your partner. So that was very, very good. Next week, my guest will be Carlton Jenkins. Will be on next week. Carlton Jenkins is a musician, producer, and songwriter. And we're going to share some of his experiences being all of those above. Okay, we have a new game that I formulated. It's called Stewart's Lucky Number. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about it first. At the end of the show, of every episode, I'm going to give you a number and a date. So it's your responsibility to make sure at the end of the month, when I give the last number and the right appropriate caller who calls in with all of the numbers will win this. A $25 gift card sponsored by Stewart Spotlight. $25. Now you must remember, you got to remember all of the numbers every week. So I'm going to start off with the first set of numbers. Here we go right here.
Welcome to Stewart Lucky Number. The first number for January the 3rd, 2025 is 11. The second number for January the 10th, 2025 is 87. And today's number, January the 17th, 2025 is 29. Good luck.
Once again, you have to remember all of those numbers. At the end of the month, the last show, I will recall. I would say the lucky number, the lucky caller is whatever, and they must identify each date and number to receive the $25 gift card. Sponsored by Stewart Spotlight. Something a little catchy there. So now with that being said, now it is time for Brother Lee.
Yes, Lord. Let the glory of God rest upon Stewart Spotlight as he continues to bring on people with dynamic life stories and life experiences. Listen, we just want to say a special prayer for the young lady because every sickness is not unto death, but that God will get the glory out of everything that she does. She is an ambassador for the Lord, and she could speak with power and let people know that they could get the warning through her that this disease called HIV can be controlled and it can be spoken unto. Let the young lady voice be heard and let her reach and teach as many as she can. I am so excited. I'm so proud of her and what she's done. She also is a commando, Marshal Commando. Listen, C4L, we just want to say we love you and we love the work that you're doing. Thank God for Stewart Spotlight and bringing on people like the young lady with a testimony. God bless you real good. Back to you, Stewart.
All right, Brother Lee, I appreciate that very much. I try very hard to bring people with information that may want to share and someone may be watching this program and been educated on the HIV that people didn't know about. Because I think I brought a couple of months ago a person brought on who spoke about prostate cancer. A lot of people, men don't know about prostate cancer. So I'm trying to educate, bring some liveliness to Stewart Spotlight, fun time, bad time, good times, whatever times you want to call it.
Yeah.
I just want to get the word out there to individuals like all of us.
Well, let me say in this time, we want Stewart Spotlight to bless people and so that people can be blessed by their stories.
Yes.
Man, this is awesome ministry, man.
I appreciate it very much. So until next week, Lee, I'll see you tomorrow. See you next week. Have a nice one.
All
right, bye.
Bless you. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I think that concludes the show for this evening. I'm gonna bring up. I'm gonna have a little small Bible verse at the end of every show, and the verse of today is, "Be still and know that I am God." Psalms 46:10. Okay, until next week. In my closing, I spoke with a friend of mine in Chicago. Andre, I know you're looking at this, and I came up with this slogan. It's all about us working together. Let's work together and make things happen. Until next week, everybody have a safe and wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next Friday. Have a good night.